And, it was such an experience that you would not have here in North America for sure.
Welcome to the 5 Questions Podcast, where we unlock real estate and business insights one question at a time. Welcome to the 5 Questions Podcast. I am your host, Mario Lamar. On today's show, I'm really excited about our guest. He's been investing in real estate for over 27 years. He's got a portfolio of over $200 million in assets, and is named the Godfather of real estate.
Let's
Welcome,
go.
Alfonso Cuadra. Alfonso,
Let's go. Let's go.
Thanks so
5
much for
questions. I'm like, how is he going to narrow everything down to 5 questions? Well, we're going to see. Mario, good to be here, my brother. Thank you for having me on the show.
the concept is 5 questions about real estate or business, and we get straight to the point.
I love it.
The first one I'd like to ask you is, you've been investing for many years now. You have an extensive portfolio under your belt. But what made you want to start investing in the first place in real estate? What got you going?
I wasn't always an investor. I was a business person first. I started my first business when I was 17 years old. And it was a clothing business that I grew to stores all across Canada. By the time I was 21, I was very successful. I had money in the bank. I had all the toys. I had the life of my dreams at 21 years old. At 21 years old, I had made it. And the issue was I had no financial literacy. No one taught me how to invest. And what I did was I blew the money. And it wasn't until I was 24, at the brink of losing everything, that I made a decision that I would never want to feel that way again. And I started to educate myself on financial literacy. I started to read about being wealthy. I started to read about wealthy people. I love biographies, about all the wealthiest people in the world.
Right.
After doing all of this research, I discovered that, number one, my issue was I was very much a consumer. And so I needed to transition from being a consumer to an investor, having the investor mindset. Number two, I only had one stream of income, which was my business. And when that suffered, and that dried up, I was left, trying to figure out what to do. What I discovered is that the wealthiest people in the world, not only do they not buy stuff, but they reinvest their money into income producing assets, which leads me to the last point, which is real estate. When I read about all the wealthiest people in the world, even though they had other businesses, all of them, every single one of them that I read about, had real estate as one of the streams that they had. And so that's what I realized. Even though I was successful in business, I needed to become an investor.
Right.
And through that transformation led me to investing in real estate. And, I never looked back. I transitioned to a full-time investor by the time I was 30 years old.
So, okay, that leads me to another question I have for you. You went into real estate because you wanted to follow the footsteps of the people that were successful and making big money. But then how does someone building wealth?
Yeah.
How does someone do that just as a snap of the finger?
Good question. So it's not necessarily a snap of a finger. I had to make a decision.
Right.
The first step is you have to make a decision on whether or not you want to be wealthy, right? I mean, it's going to come with some effort. And the first thing is you have to decide. The second thing that someone will need to do is get educated on how that's going to happen. And so that's what I did. I started to read about all the wealthiest people in the world. Not only did they all invest in real estate, but they all had mentors and coaches that got them there, right? Everybody talks about, like mentorship, someone that mentored them. And so I knew that was going to be my path. And so I looked for people in my community that were doing the things that I wanted to do. And I went out and reached out, got mentorship from those people. And, even though I had to make a huge investment in myself, but I knew that the best investment was the one that you make on yourself, right? I
Right,
wanted to bet, I wanted to bet on me, right?
right, right.
And that's how I got started. Like I was shown the way. I had to go and get advice from people that were in this space.
So you didn't try to do it on your own. You went to seek guidance to make
Yeah.
sure you would be successful.
I've had so many mentors and coaches. Everything that I've ever done in my life that's been successful has been because I've had a mentor or a coach.
Yeah, so this is probably one of the biggest point I want to bring out to our listeners is if you try to do something, especially real estate because it's big money, make sure you know what you're doing, and if you don't, well, get some guidance so you do it well. I want to. So our third question for you, I know you have your Quarter Youth Foundation, and this is something that I admire you doing what you do with that foundation. But can you explain a little bit what goes on in the Quarter Youth Foundation?
So a big part of what I do and why I do anything, I built Wealth Genius, I built multiple companies. We have over 10 companies that are currently active in our portfolio. The reason, why I do anything is because I believe in this philosophy, no one left behind. If you really want to come with us, we're going to help you. We're going to bring you with us. And the reason for that is because when I was young, I felt like I was left behind. Number one, my dad left during the war, never came back. In the education system, when I came to Canada as a refugee, the education system was pretty tough on me. And I felt like, I was consistently left behind in school. And, there was no guidance, there was no help, there was no support. As I became a teenager and I was on my own, I felt like I was like on my own, like the whole world was against me. I felt like I was left behind. And so my philosophy is I don't want anybody to ever feel that way. And so, even though I've started by mentoring, adults, training them and showing them the way and how to become successful, how to become free, I've I've had thousands of students. I've created thousands of millionaires all over the world. I still want to address my 12-year-old self where I
Right,
felt like I was completely alone. And so the whole foundation was created with that foundation. No one left behind. And young people right now, I feel like they're being left behind. And it's an important segment of our population because these are our future leaders.
right.
And so we teach young people financial literacy, entrepreneurial skills, leadership, sales, soft skills, and we do this globally. And we have a goal to reach 1 million young people in the next 5 years. And so that's, kind of been my passion, my life's work and my passion. And the results have been incredible. These young people are just incredible people.
And if somebody, wants to donate to help out in the foundation, or how does it work exactly?
Yeah, so basically what we're looking for is time, right? Money's nice, and in fact, we have initiatives where we are taking donations, but they're for very specific causes. For example, as you know, we're building a school in Sierra Leone, and we're about halfway there of the funding that we need. And so, if people go to wealthgenius.ai/gives, they'll see our initiative there. We're building a school. I actually just got back from Sierra Leone, and we did a Quadra Youth event there, and we're building a school there with another organization called Freedom Tree. And if anybody wants to donate, go there, wealthgenius.ai/gives. Go there and donate because it's an amazing cause, and all of the funds are going directly to build that school. For us on the Quadra Youth side, instead of instead of money, we want people to donate time.
Yeah.
Time is the most valuable asset that someone has. And these are not problems that people can just throw money to. People have to donate their time. For example, I could have just donated, money to build a school in Sierra Leone, but I took my time to go there and educate some of these young people. Um, and this is how we're going to truly make an impact. And so, the challenge that I put forward to everyone, especially the people that are listening to the podcast, we have a 1 day event. It's called the Ultimate Teen Entrepreneur. And what we do is we actually do this across Canada and the US. And if someone is really excited about financial literacy for young people, they can organize a local event. We will come and deliver the event. We have all the product. We'll bring all the workbooks, the pens, the t-shirts for all the young people. But ultimately, we work with people on the ground. Just before I went to Sierra Leone, I was in Steinbach, Manitoba. So there's no place too big or too small that I won't go to make sure that the message, continues. But that's the way we're taking donations. We're taking donations of time. We want people to be able to, step up and help us organize one of these events.
Okay, that's great to know because, maybe some communities or some parents with kids in school, they want to give that to their children. So all you
Yeah.
have to do is organize a group of what, 15, 20
20,
children
at
in a
least 20 young
classroom,
people. There's no limit to the amount of people. I've done events for like 150 young people, 200 young people. Really, there's no limit.
right?
But to make it really worth it and dynamic, I would say minimum 20 young people between the ages of 12 to 17.
And then you guys come in and then deliver the.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now you kind of touched on my fourth question, but maybe you can circle back. And I know you went to Africa to start building that school with Freedom Tree. What was your experience down there? I was, maybe a couple minutes on it. It's going to be hard to go, in a short. I know you can talk a lot about it, but what was your experience? People over there versus maybe North American people.
Yeah, it's really incredible. You know, a lot of these developing countries, they're kind of behind on things and, the technologies that we have. But what I find really interesting, even though people, they're living with nothing, some of these people have still dirt floors, right? Some of the houses, especially where I went into the villages, right? So
Right.
they have still mud houses, dirt floors or whatnot, but they're happy, right? Some of these people have, they don't look at material things like the way we do. Some of the things that are inconvenient for us, it's not even a realm of possibility because, in some of these developing nations, they're trying to survive, right? And it was definitely a humbling experience. It was definitely an experience that I will never forget. And we were right there with the people. One of the most memorable moments was, Tara, which she's the CEO of Freedom Tree. What she does and to build a school, it's not. I used to think, oh, you just put up money and you build a school, but you gotta have the stakeholders involved. The Ministry of Education needs to be involved. The village, and they need ownership over this building, or else they're not going to use it. They're not going to respect it. So there's a lot of work. We're talking about even years of work in advance. And what they do primarily is build these clinics, birthing clinics. And I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. But we went through these dirt roads, probably about 3 hours to get to this one village. And when we arrived, and they were looking at a future site for a clinic in one of these villages. And the whole village was there waiting for us. And as we came into like kind of like the beginning of the village, the entire village came out and they were singing to us these welcome songs. So now we're walking with everybody in the village, and we get to their meeting place where they did this amazing ceremony. and singing and dancing. And then we got gifts. And so we got the traditional, Sierra Leone, dress.
Yeah.
And Helene and I were dressed, and they gave us names. We have very specific names for that village. And Tara, you won't believe this, something very special. She got a goat. She got a goat, a chicken, plantain, and avocados. And it was so funny because that goat came home with us in the van, and it was such an experience that you would not have here in North America for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. So many different experiences, and it's good to see how it takes us back, how people can appreciate the little things in life, and now maybe sometimes we need to step back and reflect on how good our life is, which really pushes me to encourage our listeners, if they want to participate in the cause, go to wealthgenius/gives, and 20, 30, $50, whatever you can give goes towards a good cause. Here's our last question for you, Alfonso. It's not a complicated one. You do a lot of stuff. What's next? What's next for you? What's next for the plans of Well Genius, maybe, or what's next for you personally?
Well, for us, everything that we do, we continue to expand on, right? So, our portfolio, from a real estate perspective, we're bringing the portfolio to 7,500 doors. In the next 5 years, we want to get to $1 billion, assets under management, right? So that's
That's
that's our
amazing.
our goal in the real estate side. Wealth Genius, this is a passion project. This is our way to give to as many people as possible the gift that I was given in terms of having this understanding and learning how to invest and building portfolios, creating financial freedom. So we have a mission, is to inspire the world to create financial freedom, time freedom for themselves, because I know that if people have their time back, they're going to do amazing things with their lives.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to Wealth Genius, right now we're, at around 1,200 members. We'd love to get to 5,000 members. Of course, we're looking for quality. We're always protecting the validity of the group. So it's not like we're looking for millions and millions of people. But if we can maintain the quality of people, because as you know, Wealth Genius stands for excellence and action takers and camaraderie and community. And
Yeah.
so if we can continue to foster that and still continue to grow the membership, we're excited to do it. And then lastly, the Cuadra Youth Foundation, for one, we're building this school, but we don't want to stop there. We want to build hundreds and potentially thousands of schools out there, and we want to impact the lives of 1 million young people. And that would be for the very short term. Those are some of the goals that we have.
These are not small goals, but they're ambitious. And you know what? Congratulate you. I'd like to congratulate you on those goals, because it's not only for yourself, but it's also for the communities. You're thinking of other people, and it's so beautiful to see. So thank you for that. Thank you for the motivations that you give us. And thank you for being on the Five Questions podcast with us today.
Hey, great podcast, my man. Congratulations, and keep moving forward, keep expanding, keep growing, keep creating, and we're going to see you at the top.
Thanks for tuning in to the Five Questions podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell on our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Stay tuned for more insights and tips to transform your real estate and business game. See you next time.